All right, so move on to the next segment. We're going to pivot over here to the world of wrestling inside the WWE world. In the next segment, I'll be sharing my WWE Backlash PLE summary of all the matches that took place on the Backlash card Saturday in this sport of wrestling inside the WWE world. In the opener, you've seen Braun Breaker defeat Seth Rollins. Now, honestly, this opener was fantastic in my opinion between Braun Breaker and Seth Rollins. They set the tone of what it was like for an action-packed wrestling night of Backlash. And I thought that PLE was pretty good, but this is a good way to start the show. Fast-paced match between Braun Breaker and Seth Rollins. Both Braun Breaker and Seth Rollins started the match beating the hell out of each other on the outside of the ring. And you could tell the storytelling was a huge factor in this match between Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker. Basically, a teacher versus mentor matchup because remember, Seth Rollins was the leader of the Vision for several months after WrestleMania 41 last year until Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed kicked him out of the group. So these two have a lot of history with each other for the time spent in the Vision. But overall in this match, the spots are really good. Braun Breaker tried to do his running spear on the outside of the ring, caught a huge super kick to the face by Seth Rollins on the outside of the ring. Basically caught Braun Breaker in midair as he's trying to perform the spear on the outside of the ring. But there's a lot of good spots in this match, guys. I like the spot where Seth Rollins hit the buckle bomb power bomb on Braun Breaker, power bombing Braun Breaker back first into the turnbuckle, but then Braun Breaker followed it up with a running clothesline on Seth Rollins. Then you had the jumping clothesline spot where Braun Breaker was set up on the ring apron on the outside of the ring, hit the jumping clothesline on Seth Rollins, and both wrestlers were colliding with each other on the outside of the ring towards the announce table. And I also like the spot where Braun Breaker actually countered Seth Rollins' Falcon Arrow suplex as the match went on. And the closing sequences of the match were pretty good and setting up what's happening right now on Raw with the Vision, Braun Breaker's lackeys, the World Tag Team Champions of Logan Paul and Austin Theory having his back. They tried to interfere in the match, but Seth Rollins took out both Logan Paul and Austin Theory with steel chairs and curve stomps on the outside of the ring. But once Seth Rollins got back in the ring, after taking his attention off of Logan Paul and Austin Theory, he caught a spear by Braun Breaker, kicked out at 2.5, 2 9/4. And Seth Rollins, I like the spot also with Seth Rollins countered a spear into the pedigree. You've seen that spot a lot between himself and Roman Reigns, so I'm glad you've seen that spot between himself and Braun Breaker. Then Braun Breaker speared Seth Rollins in midair, and to close the door on the match, he hit the spear on Seth Rollins to pick up his biggest win on the main roster. So I think clearly the story is showing that this is going to continue. I told you guys last week I think this is going to continue all the way up until SummerSlam. But round one in this trilogy of matches I believe we'll see has gone to Braun Breaker. Next match, you had Trick Williams defeat Sami Zayn to successfully retain his United States Championship. Now, honestly, I thought this match between Trick Williams and Sami Zayn was much better than the WrestleMania match. I think they had more time to tell a story and to fire off their best moves in the ring this time around. Sami Zayn, in my opinion, wrestled the match better as a heel this time, as we've seen the double turn during the WrestleMania match where Sami Zayn basically turned heel during the match and Trick Williams turned face as the match went on. And Sami Zayn nearly won the match between himself and Trick Williams using the kendo stick to his advantage. And then Little Yachty hit Sami Zayn in the back with the kendo stick, and Trick Williams nearly won the match after the fact that he got assisted from Little Yachty. Trick Williams hit Sami Zayn with a cyclone knee, and Sami Zayn kicked out at 2. And then on the outside of the ring, the action spilled on the outside of the ring where Sami Zayn hit a DDT on Trick Williams, planting his head first into the steel steps on the outside of the ring. Then at the end of the match, Sami Zayn hit a haluva kick on Little Yachty, which basically opened the door for Sami Zayn to put away Trick Williams. But thanks to the distraction, Trick Williams actually pulled the plug and hit a picture-perfect trick shot to defeat Sami Zayn to successfully retain his United States Championship. To be honest with you guys, I'm not going to spend too much time on the next match. Danhausen and Mini Danhausen defeated The Miz and Kit Wilson in a tag team match. Look, clearly worst match of the night. Clearly, I told you guys last week this match was better being presented on a SmackDown episode, and we should have got another match, possibly a Becky Lynch versus Sol Ruka could have took the spot here for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. This match was not needed, and we move on. Next match, you had Io Sky defeat Asuka. Now, honestly, both Io Sky and Asuka showed the WWE creative that this women's match should have been on the card either for night 1 or night 2 of WrestleMania 42 this year. And it was a mistake leaving both Io Sky, one of the best in-ring performers in the world. I don't give a damn about the promotion. I don't give a damn about the gender. Io Sky is one of the best wrestlers in the world against a breathing legend like Asuka. They should have had time to shine on the WrestleMania card. But they made up for it in their match at Backlash. Awesome match. Overall, great wrestling. You got a mix of everything. Face style, or wrestling style, storytelling, and technical wrestling styles that were displayed in this match between Io Sky and Asuka. And also, it was a fast-paced match. I like the spots that took place in this match as well. You had the Hurricanrana by Io Sky off the ropes, and then Asuka countered out of the Hurricanrana after that, or she took the Hurricanrana and then countered Io Sky into making a mistake and rolled her up with Io Sky kicking out of 2.5, 2 9/4. And I like the spot where Asuka, where both wrestlers are on the outside of the ring, and Asuka and Io Sky were both staying on the announcer's table, and Asuka tried to spit the mist into Io Sky's eyes, but Io Sky was prepared. She grabbed Wade Barrett's commentator notes and his book on the outside of the ring to block out the mist going in her eyes, which I thought that was really compelling storytelling right there. But Io Sky went to the top rope and had a moonsault on Asuka on the outside of the ring. I like that spot there too. And then Io Sky being desperate, fighting out of the Asuka lock submission hole, not submitting to her former friend in Asuka. And then the finishing sequences of the match were Io Sky hitting the bullet train, attacking the corner, putting away her former mentor, with Io Sky following up with her picture-perfect finishing moonsault for the victory. I thought this was a great match. Now, I don't know what the future really holds for Asuka at this particular point. I don't know if she's retiring. I don't know if the WWE is going to release her. I've seen all the rumors and speculation online. But if this is the way how she's going to end her WWE run or her wrestling career, what a way to go out against Io Sky in an incredible match. And honestly, Asuka is easily one of the best women's wrestlers of all time, hands down. The work that she's done in Japan, the work that she's done in WWE, since being signed to NXT, a decade or so now ago. And she had that incredible run on NXT where she had the undefeated streak as the women's NXT champion, vacated the title, then moved up to the main roster, and took her a couple of years or so after being moved up, and finally lost her first match on the main roster, or in her WWE run, against Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania 34. But other than that, Asuka has had one incredible run, and I want to see more from Asuka. I hope this is not it, but if it is, a shout out to her for having one of the greatest women's in-ring wrestling careers of all time. And then before the main event, you got the John Cena announcement. Now, I do like the idea of John Cena having the Open Classic tournament. I actually thought this was a great idea and a great announcement by John Cena. No, he's not coming out of retirement. You still can't see him in a wrestling ring. But as I digress, John Cena is hinting towards doing something like this in December. If you guys remember that Saturday night's main event, or the final night of John Cena's in-ring wrestling career, where he main evented that Saturday night's main event card against Gunther, the whole entire night was based off of up-and-coming talent facing the best that the WWE had to offer. You had up-and-coming stars from NXT feature on the show. Wrestlers like Obafemi, who was the NXT champion at the time, Javon Evans, and Sol Ruka all were a huge part of that Saturday night's main event card. And actually, all three of those wrestlers actually moved up to the main roster. They took advantage of that opportunity being showcased on that card that night. And also, this John Cena tournament is going to introduce new stars to the business and take advantage of their opportunities wrestling against the best that the WWE has to offer today. In a similar way how John Cena burst on the scene back on SmackDown in 2002, where he faced Kurt Angle, one of the best in-ring performers in wrestling history. And the tournament will be awesome. Now, the only nitpick that I'll do at this John Cena Classic tournament is, I think the tournament is awesome, but I do wish a winner was rightfully crowned with the winner winning the tournament rather than the winner being decided by the WWE Universe. And I don't understand, if you could be a part of a tournament, the loser can still become a champion. That's the only nitpicking I'll do with the criteria of the tournament. But we'll see if it's a good overall strategy once the tournament comes. But I do remember the WWE having a lot of power in the palm of their hands or on their technical devices when Cyber Sunday was around. When I was about, 6 to 10 years old, when Cyber Sunday was a big thing in the WWE. And fans would be able to vote on the matches, the special guest referees, and the stipulations of Cyber Sunday matches that took place on that pay-per-view back in the day. So it could be cool to see if the WWE Universe could get the correct winner correct, based off of how good the wrestler performed in the John Cena Classic Tournament. So I do think that's pretty cool, and we'll see how this tournament goes. But I do think this was a good overall idea by John Cena and the WWE to move forward with the John Cena Classic Tournament for the sake of the future. And in the main event, you had Roman Reigns defeat Jacob Fatu to successfully retain his World Heavyweight Championship. Now, this was a good overall match between Roman Reigns and Jacob Fatu in the main event of WWE Backlash. Roman Reigns, honestly, in this match sold well for Jacob Fatu. He made him look like an absolute badass, a monster, an indestructible force, and made Jacob Fatu look like $1 million, a future world champion for sure. But in this match, I thought it was pretty good pace between the Samoans of Roman Reigns and Jacob Fatu. And Jacob Fatu was backing it up in the corner, paying homage to his late great uncle Umaga. And also, Roman Reigns, he tried it again, backing it up on Roman Reigns in the corner. But then Roman Reigns caught Jacob Fatu with a Superman punch, collapsed to fall into the cover for a near fall. And as the match went on, Jacob Fatu powered Roman Reigns, powerbombed Roman Reigns on the outside of the ring through the announcer's table. And a few moments later, Roman Reigns actually speared Jacob Fatu out of desperation and got a close near fall count on his cousin and Jacob Fatu. Roman Reigns wanted to land another spear, try to put away his cousin, but Jacob Fatu then landed a picture-perfect Samoan drop in the air and then hit the picture-perfect finishing moonsault on Roman Reigns, with Roman Reigns kicking out at 2. Then Jacob Fatu, he's been signaling to this several weeks up into the match on Monday Night Raw, choking out his cousin Roman Reigns with a Tongan death grip and nearly made Roman Reigns pass out to become the new World Heavyweight Champion. But Roman Reigns hit a Superman punch in midair on Jacob Fatu, followed up with a spear to get another near fall. And Roman Reigns at this point is in desperation mode, thinking about what he needs to do to put away his little cousin to retain his World Heavyweight Championship. And then Jacob Fatu once again applied the Tongan death grip. But out of desperation, Roman Reigns desperately grabbed the referee by his shirt and then grabbed the turnbuckle, trying to breathe after his cousin was trying to suck the life out of him. And then Jacob Fatu inadvertently went into the turnbuckle head first into the turnbuckle. Then Roman Reigns hit a picture-perfect spear on Jacob Fatu to successfully retain his World Heavyweight Championship. But of course, this feud is going to continue if you watch the latest episode of Raw, if you watch the beatdown post-match between Roman Reigns and Jacob Fatu. I already told you guys, the story is there. Roman is going to force Jacob Fatu to acknowledge him, fall in line, and be the new enforcer. And that's where I think we're going to get a heel bloodline run all over again with Roman Reigns, Jay and Jimmy the Usos, and Jacob Fatu. But honestly, I really enjoyed the WWE Backlash PLE. A lot of wrestling, picture perfect, other than the Danhausen tag team match. The wrestling was really good. This is how WWE is supposed to put on PLE shows. So we'll see how the future goes for the WWE for the remainder of the year. But those are my overall thoughts on the WWE Backlash PLE card.